Hey, Kodiak here. We'll do a little kind of a hot take action report here at the end of this. Um, so the reason, first of all, just something. The reason why all these things, there's no bags or anything, is I believe my seneschal is set to basically, if there is loot containers, to basically put everything away. Um, so that is a thing. If there is bodies, to go ahead and do that. So we're going to go check that little bin, or the bins, to see if that's where all the armor and weapons went. I think we've kind of figured out the pattern, if you will, in terms of how the invasions actually work. So yeah, that's what happened. They put all the stuff in there. So first of all, you'll notice that most of these things that we're seeing here are actually like bronze tier weapons, with the occasional iron tier weapon in here. I imagine the iron tier came from the elite because the elite was using dual wield and I believe one handed against us. Whereas the rest of these would have been bronze tier. Same thing with the armor. The armor that we looted here, you can see most of this stuff is bronze tier, base tier stuff. You got thick leather plus the bronze chainmail. So definitely, we're definitely kind of going up. How I believe the mechanic works is the level of the guys that face you. So, like we were seeing level 48 and 50s, that is a reflection of my current awareness strength. Um, so, as my awareness continues to rise, the multiplier of my level versus the awareness continues to go up. So, when I was like a level 30 something, it was like 45. Now that I'm 40, now it goes up to 50, so on and so forth. So as you can't really sit there and just grind out a bunch of awareness levels because it's just going to jack up the tier or the level of the guys that you're facing, in single player tribe mode. On the second end of things, the last invasion that I had was the same bronze bonfire, but I was tribe level 2 and I was still facing guys in bone tier equipment. But now that I'm tribe level 3, I think that's what actually upgraded the tier of the opponent's equipment that we're actually seeing is by going up in that tier. So what that means is if you don't want to face down bronze tier opponents, or you're not ready to face down opponents in bronze tier, you need to go ahead and make sure your invasion timer, because you'll see, like, for example, we have a cooldown right now, but then we get back to that timer saying this is a countdown until when you will be invaded next. You need to make sure that that isn't really, really close to right after you upgrade your tribe level. Otherwise, the opponents you face are going to be much higher. You'll also notice that I faced quite a bit more. That's that full power invasion ticking up. We're actually getting up there. You will get these barbarians and vagabonds and things and whatnot after the end of invasions. Some of them are pretty good and some of them are pretty bad. Like we looked at, this one's actually pretty wild, right? You know, 120, 125 weapon, 125 armor, 125 tool. That's basically maxed out of all three of those. Unfortunately, she is a claw tribe, which you can see in the upper right hand corner. Novice craftsman, claw tribe. Novice, by the way. Um, and she actually goes, she doesn't, she's so high level at 49 that even if I wanted to, like, let's say I go find refined tool 3, like, I could replace the level 60 ability, but that's all I'm really going to get. And because she's claw, she doesn't have the same abilities that you get from the flint guys. For example, like on my armor sith, who decides, of course, to run around right when I'm trying to do this. You know, he's got that refined armor from Flint, which is a Flint tribe only talent. We should do it this way. You can see Flint exclusive. So Flint is the only way to get that 10% additional quality on this map. On the other map, it won't matter. Shifting Sands actually has generic these. I forget what they're called, but it's basically there's one for armor, there's one for weaponsmith, and you can get higher quality of those. So that's really nice. But on this map, on Cloud Mist, it's like you have to have Flint for your armor crafter and Flint for your weaponsmith. And then you want, the tool doesn't really matter, anything 125. Preferably, though, you want to set up kind of like how I have here, where this character actually has 120 tool, as well as 120 weapon crafting. So now this one character, once I get her refined tool, because that's I got one more slot here, The next time she gets refined tool, that'll be perfect because now she can go ahead and do both my weapons and my tools all in one. I don't need two characters for that, so that saves me like a body slot. And generally speaking, tools and weaponsmiths are you're not like you don't need a dedicated guy for each. So I'm actually going to reject that, which is unfortunate because the Try 125 is pretty good. But you always do want to check those guys. We've had a couple of people mention that they do tend to be they are pretty decent and are worth checking. So definitely check all that. But otherwise, like I said, invasions, the level of the guys will be scaled to your awareness level times your multiplier, depending on what difficulty you're on. I'm on 1.5 times with full power. However, there must be some sort of like internal cap to that because 1.5 times 40, I was expecting level 60 guys. So there must be some sort of cap to that. Maybe there's like an average of the area you're in versus the guy or something of that nature. I'm not sure yet. We'll keep looking at it. And then the quality of equipment that they're going to have is going to be based on your tribe level. So again, I'm tribe level 3, so they came out with bronze. I'm sure if I go up to tribe level 4, we'll have that next level for that. I'll also note that seems to be one of the better ways to get reputation. Killing leaders only gives you like 15 or 30 in many cases for a lot of the clearing some of the barracks and things of that nature. So doing invasions seems to be like a really good way to actually get your reputation up and actually doing them. I haven't tried paying them off. You did see like the cost. The costs were actually still pretty cheap to pay them off, but that may be like an answer. Like if you upgrade your tribe and you're not ready for it, maybe you just pay them off and not really think about it. So there you go. Hot little take, but I think it turned out pretty well overall. The defenses are holding up relatively good. We do need to solve for something though, because the fact that they basically went around to different sections, you can see like in that section where it's like, okay, well I can't get to where I need to get to, so I'm just going to drill a hole in the wall. We might have to enhance our base a little bit again, and set up some sort of method for permanent defenses that are actually a little bit better than this, that will actually allow for kind of more what we're looking for this this type of setup. So we'll have to play around with that. We'll have to think about it. Otherwise, I will continue to tear these things down and rebuild them out as I need them. So, all right, thanks.